Right. So we had a wonderful time with our current issue, with all of our sisters, as Colin says. And in the studio with us today, we have the wonderful Naomi Chaplin from Merky Bikes.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Naomi.
Naomi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. Coping with snow, a lot of snow in Birmingham, which has led to school
Ouch, ouch,
closures and
ouch.
Yeah.
working from home and juggling a
Okay,
lot. But we're good. We're really good here.
okay.
Good, good. I was going to ask you because it's, the windows on the other side of the studio. It's like, okay, it's really snowing down here.
Oh, is it
So
really?
it's
Yeah.
really snowing. Those are some fat flakes out there. They're
I know.
really huge. They're huge. They're like, okay.
I won't be
This
venturing out there
jumper will
today.
not be coming off today, that's for sure.
No, exactly.
Oh, dear. It's one of those where if you pan down, it's like, how many layers of socks have they got on? How many pairs of
I
so,
know,
Let's
honestly,
not
the
pan
socks
down.
thing, it's serious because I went out yesterday and didn't have sufficient socks on and I felt
oh,
it in my thick Wellington boots. So,
oh,
yeah,
wow.
we're talking
Wow.
about 3 pairs of socks, guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely,
Okay. It's not just
definitely.
me then. Because, I
No.
mean, because we are about Merky bikes,
Yes.
that's why the socks things came to me. I thought, okay, if I was on my bike,
Yeah.
how many pairs of socks would I need? So Merky Bikes, tell us all about this.
Well, actually, before you do that, Naomi,
Yeah.
I just want to tell everybody where we met.
Yes.
Because we met at the UK Black Business Show 2022
We did.
in October last year. And you were there with your partner, your business partner, and your life partner, Tobias.
Yeah.
And you guys had a brilliant stand.
Thank
And
you.
that's what really drew me to the stand. You had this great backdrop and you had those electric bikes. And to be honest, I don't see many of us in terms of people of color
Yeah.
retailing and distributing electric bikes. So that intrigued me.
Yeah.
And so we had a quick chat. We took some photographs, and we asked you and Tobias to write a piece
Mm-hmm.
in for this issue, which is the 6 no-brainer benefits, health benefits
Yeah.
of electric bikes. So
Yeah.
do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah. So tell us about the bikes and then we'll move into some of the health benefits.
Definitely.
Okay. So we have a 4-part range. We've got 2 mountain bikes, a foldable bike, and one that's referred to as a commuter bike.
Okay.
And it has that reference because it's easy to get on and off. And it's suited for people that have to get on and off regularly. So maybe
Right.
Deliveroo or Uber or
Oh,
just people in
definitely.
the city. And also, whilst we don't like to call any of our bikes gender specific because women can ride the mountain bikes.
Absolutely.
Step throughs are often referred to as good for women because they allow that bit of modesty. You don't have to hike your leg up to.
Okay.
Which
So
one's
yeah,
that, Mary? Which one's that?
it's called a step through or a commuter
Step
bike.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
got a lower bar that you don't have to
Yeah.
Yeah.
really
To
hoist
be
yourself
honest, that
onto.
sounds like the one for me.
Yeah.
A modesty bike.
Yeah. But yeah,
What do
so
you
we've
like?
tried to make the range as diverse as possible so that there's something there for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, for us, e-biking is hugely about inclusivity because
Brilliant.
a lot of people I feel don't ride because they can't tackle a hill or they'll ride
Okay.
they'll ride away and then they're like, oh no, now I've got to ride home. And
Yeah.
you know and
Mm,
the benefits of obviously being able to first and foremost reduce your carbon footprint because you're not using a
Mm.
car. We're really trying to get people to demotorize where possible, particularly in cities.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
mm,
so getting out of cars and reducing your carbon footprint is definitely one of the benefits, and I call that a health benefit because
mm.
there's so much talk about generational wealth.
Mm.
Yeah.
But what good is it going to be if there's no planet left for our children and
Absolutely.
their
Yeah.
children
Absolutely.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
enjoy? So this
Mm,
is a generational wealth of a different type, in our opinion.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I've got a little
No worries,
in the
no
background
worries.
there.
Absolutely no worries at all.
So, and then also that there are studies that support the mental well-being benefits of cycling and just being outdoors in general. But exercising your body is obviously always going to have a positive impact on your mentality. The cost-saving element. So it really, particularly at a time like this with the cost of living crisis and all of the city centres across the UK, they're making it harder and harder for people to drive anywhere, with good reason. But the ultra low emission zones, the congestion charges, the PCNs that you can pick up if you park somewhere wrong, the bus lanes, it's just a huge revenue pot for the government that is really stinging the pockets of the average Joe that often just sometimes makes a mistake. It can't happen on a bike. I mean, it can't happen on a bike of any description. But it's just more appealing to use a bike to get to work if you don't have to worry about sweating, because with the e-bike you can use it for cardio by it's got 3 modes, by the way. I tend to topic hop, so pull me back if I go too far off.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But it's got 3 modes. So it's got the conventional mode where you're cycling and you're putting in all the effort, so you're getting the cardio, you're going to sweat. It's got a pedal assist mode, and that's got a torque sensor that basically allows the bike to match your effort. And then it's got full electric, where the bike takes the entire strain. You can glide up a hill, glide past motorists smugly.
I mean, what kind of speeds are we talking about?
Pardon?
What kind of speeds are we talking about?
Okay, so they vary. The most powerful one we have can go up to 32.5 miles per hour. But that I have to be very careful to add, in the name of UK legislation, that's for off-roading. So UK cycle lanes and road limits are 15.5 miles per hour. Now, our top of the range bike that has that capacity also has a button that you restrict the speed to 15.5 miles per hour when you're on the road. But then if you've got private land or you're into mountaineering and you go biking in the valleys and you're off public roads, then you have the capacity to use 1,000 watts and up to 32.5 miles per hour.
So, Noah, can I just ask? So, you can ride them in cycle lanes, and you can ride them on the road, and it's capped at 15.5 miles per hour if you're riding on the road.
Absolutely, it actually must be. It has to be. That's anything other than that, then obviously you're moving more now into motorized vehicles that need to be licensed and insured and registered in completely different ways. E-bike, the beauty of the e-bike is that it still stays in the bicycle category. So therefore there's no licensing or insurance requirements of any sort. And actually it's quite important that we take a sense of social responsibility to really drive home that if you've got an e-bike, you must stick to those 15.5 miles per hour, because it is very much the government's agenda, or it's typical of them. And this isn't to slander them. If people start defying those rules, we're going to move into a territory of it having to be, insured differently, licensed differently. So we can enjoy the freedom if we respect it.
So Judy, when you get your bike, 15.5.
Yep, don't want to hear about you razzing around the place.
You don't want to do 20, 25, 30, 32 even, but I'll do my best to kind of
talk about slander. Honestly,
maybe I'm really talking about myself here, but Naomi, I like what you were saying though about the cost benefits, because we spend a lot of time driving to London and also to Birmingham, where I believe you're based. And when I go to London, because we've got a clunky diesel car,
As have I.
£12.50 all the time, every single day. So
Yeah.
you know, there's that. And then in Birmingham, I think there's also ULEZ, ultra low emission zone.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
we had to change the route.
We've had to change our route going to Judy's parents.
It's like,
because you know, one weekend trip can, you know, have £8.50 times 3 added on.
Yeah, exactly.
For the sake of driving that way, and you're like, and then I feel like, oh, you kind of like miss out on driving into the city centre, or you know, and I think the business is there because when we like to obviously support Black and brown business,
absolutely,
and there's a wonderful Caribbean shop down there that it's within that zone, and so it's like either get on a bus, or you know, park at Mums and Walk, which is a trek. So the bikes sound very. That would have to be the foldable one.
In fact, I'm pretty sure the guy who owns that shop, it's a Caribbean takeaway. That every time we went to Birmingham, we went and there was a shop attached to it in Highgate. And you know,
I know exactly where you're talking about. Actually,
we bought our food there, and then we went next door and bought our groceries. He's probably think we've died. Because since you left, we've not gone back.
I know the owner personally. I'm gonna make sure
we miss him. Please tell him.
Let him know.
But I think we probably would have still visited. But I think some of our trips have been so tight that we wouldn't have been able to get into Birmingham city anyway. But
But let's go back in time. We love what you've said about the health benefits. Guys, if you want to read more about the health benefits, go check out page 94 of the current issue, and you can get it, as I said at the start, www.pitchblack.online.
You can get it free of charge.
You can get it free of charge.
The current issue.
There you go. So quick question. How did this all start?
Okay, so Tobias by nature is very tunnel visioned. If he develops an interest in something, he goes all the way down the rabbit hole. And when the pandemic kicked in, I think you'll remember there were very few ways that you were allowed to leave your house, but physical exercise was one of them. And so biking became a hobby that a lot of people picked up. And so he started looking into electric bikes. He has a very long-term calf injury, which limits his long-term mobility. So he's very strong and physically fit, but for long rides, he would prefer the assistance of an e-bike. So he started looking at one for himself. And we were literally just sitting down and looking at these bikes from China. And he was like, do you know what? I think I might get one for my son. I might order a few. I was like, why not see what ordering a few and branding them could turn into? I couldn't have meant it more loosely if I tried. But he was like, yeah, actually, we're going to do that. And then I started saying, and you know, maybe we could like call it something really kind of catchy and urban and like really grab hold of a different, like a really wide demographic. And, you know, mountaineers, the dirty bikes and Merky, Merky bikes. And I was throwing out loads of words. And that was it. He was like, I like Merky bikes. That's the name of my business. That's it. We hadn't ordered a thing yet. He was like, that's the name of my business. We're forging ahead. And we're now going to look at ordering, if we can get the finance to order a fleet. And just, you know, and sorry, I say all of this because he was coming up across lots of waiting lists. They were really hard to get hold of at the time. So I think that's what converted that conversation into this is a business opportunity. There's a shortage, and further to that, everyone's trying to go green. So this is the future. This is something that we can, one, of course, make a family business. We can serve the wider community and the planet because it's a green initiative. And hopefully you know, make some decent money off it and
Absolutely.
create some wealth for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
planet, people, profit.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
love it,
exactly. I like
Naomi.
that. I might have to steal that.
Oh no!
Take it.
It's out there. It's out there.
Yeah.
Use it. Use it.
We developed a really good relationship with a Chinese manufacturer, and
Brilliant.
what we didn't want was the stigma that's often attached to Chinese manufacturers about quality and stuff. So we worked really closely with them on devising on the design of the bike and the parts that we wanted to use. We wanted Shimano brakes, and you know, we wanted Bafang motor. We wanted reputable parts that people were familiar with, that weren't names that just that rang no bells.
I'm gonna nod like I know what you're talking about. I know Shimano brakes. The other one I don't.
But do you know? But you at least know the brakes, and I would say that brakes are pretty important when you're thinking about safety and quality of a bike.
100%, yeah. And you know, Samsung LCDs, the readers, you know, the digital display. So we really tried to make sure that when we were putting together the build of the bike, that it was with reputable parts. And unfortunately, well, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, because I think everything happens when it's supposed to. Coronavirus meant that shipping, honestly, just it. I mean, the idea was conceived in March 2020. We developed the relationship with the manufacturer by July. We decided on like branding and all of that kind of thing later on that year, and we took shipment of our first fleet of bikes December 2021. So it was a clear.
That's a quick turnaround.
You think so?
Well, no.
No, 2021.
We said from 20.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we're talking a good 21 months before we actually had our products in our possession.
Okay.
Yes,
I can understand why that may have been frustrating.
It was frustrating, but then it also allowed us time to understand the amount of things that when you enter into something as a complete novice, neither of us had no prior experience. We had no idea how much had to be put into, you know, privacy policies on your website, you know, all of the legalities surrounding the business, the tax elements, understanding how we can pitch our bikes, given that they've got these high power wattages, you know,
business structures.
We've got to make sure that we're staying within legislation, and it gave us the time to build what we thought to be a strong looking brand. And a website, which actually we're just having a massive rehaul now, because you're forever fine tuning, aren't you? There's never an end destination. It's an ongoing journey.
But brilliant. It still sounds really super quick from conception to meeting with manufacturers. You guys have been on it. Brilliant. How do we charge them up? Because I think, okay, electric bikes, is it a battery? Does the battery come off and you plug it in? And, how does that work out?
Yeah, so the batteries are completely detachable. So you can bring the battery, you can bring the battery indoors and charge the battery separately. You can bring the whole bike indoors if you've got that sort of space and charge it like that. And then obviously it plugs straight into the wall. 3 hours for a full charge. And then that gives you a 30-mile range. So it's pretty efficient. And because it's detachable, it also allows you the opportunity to have a spare battery if you're going to have a really long journey.
That makes sense.
Then you just pop a spare battery in your backpack and off you go with 2 full batteries to
That's brilliant.
I like that.
So how long have you guys been operating now?
So we started trading March last year, because when we received the bikes December previous to that, it was all about getting them into storage and launching the website. And we started trading in March of last year. So I guess this is kind of our anniversary. Yeah.
I know. Happy anniversary to you guys. And how is it going? How has it gone? What's that year been like?
It's been good. It's been really good. It's been slow and steady in terms of actual bike sales.
Okay.
So we had this novice-like projection that they would fly out the door, and we'd be reordering a new fleet quite quickly, but it didn't work out that way. And I'm really happy to be honest about that, because the more I speak to business owners, new business owners, particularly high value business owners,
it's not unusual
in what's become a saturated space, because at the same time that we realize a shortage meant an opportunity, other people did too.
Absolutely.
So it's been slow but steady. We're making the sales, and we've also had some amazing opportunities arise on the back of the UK Black Business Show. So Tobias was, I think, maybe about 13 years ago, 12 or 13 years ago, he was a main character in a film called One Day. It was a Birmingham production, but it was in all of the UK cinemas. And a film producer called
Freddie.
Huh?
I was thinking, it's Freddie who did that film 13 years ago called One Day.
Freddie Krueger.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Freddie Krueger,
that film, so he's got an upcoming film called Jafakans, and in which Peter Andre's starring amongst a whole host of other great names. And
Fantastic.
Merky bikes are going to be product placed, and we're featured in the film. So
fantastic! Well done, very well done.
So really, really great opportunities. We're also in talks with Nobu Ibiza Bay. They're considering putting our bikes in with packages for their guests who want to go and explore the island.
Yeah.
So, at the Black Business Show, we met with Freddie Krueger. Who's a film producer.
I know of Freddie, definitely.
Yeah. And he recognized Tobias, as people often do. I have to stand there, like, most people are starstruck on this film that he featured in about 12 or 13 years ago. It was a UK production that was in all of the UK cinemas called One Day. And they formed a great relationship they knew each other previously, but they strengthened the relationship at the Black Business Show, the UK Black Business Show, which led to...
I actually watched that, I watched that film. It was based in Birmingham. I think it had Bishop something in there. What's his name? Derek Webley.
Derek Webley. I don't know that name.
He was in there, and it was about a guy trying to do everything in one day. He ended up in a church, and
yes, that's it.
And his grandma. We watched that. We both watched that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We're gonna go rewatch it. So sorry.
He played the role of evil. You won't be able to miss him. He doesn't look much different.
I will definitely. We'll go watch that again.
So that relationship's come back round. And for Merky Bikes, what happened? So
they met up again, and because Freddie's got an upcoming production, which is going to be on all of the main platforms, so Netflix, Prime Video, etc. It's called Jafakan. It features Peter Andre and a whole host of other great names. And Merky Bikes is going to be used in quite a few scenes. So great product placement for us. Yeah. So we're really excited about that, and we're also in talks with Ibiza Nobu Bay to have, in keeping with their very kind of light bohemian look, we've got white and turquoise bikes amongst our range. So they want to have those to fit in with the Ibiza Bay, kind of tone. And they're taking a fleet of those to add into their packages for their guests to go and explore the island.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's quite exciting.
We are so excited for you.
That's really good.
I'd also just like to say to Judy, my birthday's on the 10th of May. I know you won't forget.
Oh, you're a Taurian.
Absolutely a Taurian. And a Taurian who's going to have a Merky bike.